From their mother's basement, to the internet, to the Grammys, independent musicians are finding a way to get it done. Join us as we explore the state of independent music next on Views and Vibes. The rise of the internet has produced a boom in independent music, creating celebrities out of anyone who owns a computer. But is this necessarily a good thing for serious musicians who now have to compete for attention? Joining us today to discuss the state of independent music are radio personalities Drea Newman and independent musicians Allison Crockett and Christos. Welcome, you guys. Thank you for coming to Views and Vibes.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. I want to start off by talking about independent music itself, and we're going to start off with Drea. How do you define independent music?
Number one is freedom for the artist.
Okay.
I do believe that's freedom. Not getting caught up in the rat race and the cookie cutter image that maybe a lot of mainstream artists get mixed up in. Independent music is honest. It's original. Yeah. That's it for me.
All right.
That's it for me as far as a listener standpoint of it all.
Right. Let's go on to Christos, man. How do you define independent music?
It's funny she would say honest because people ask me what kind of music I play a lot of times, and I think about, well, what genre or this or that. And so after a while, I just said, you know, I play honest music.
Right.
And as far as with independent, you know, artists and the whole thing with the internet and everything, to be quite honest, it's created a platform for a lot of people to get exposure who, you know, might not have been able to do so in the past, you know, but at the same time, it's also created this wave. It's like a tidal wave of people out who are doing music, and might make it a little bit more difficult to define, you know, who kind of does this on the weekend and who's really been doing this for putting their life in.
That's definitely true.
Right.
Yeah.
But real talent definitely will shine through, though. See, that's the beauty in real talent.
Right,
you know, that's real talent would always step up first, and people can always sift through the crap and then sift through what's really real. And I remember Eric Roberson made a comment. This is a guy who went from a major label. And
that's right.
Originally,
when he first came out, right,
to now an independent artist that is Grammy nominated. So I mean, that right there alone says it speaks volumes. It speaks a lot of volumes. You know, the only thing that pretty much hurts the independent artist to me is major distribution. But other than that, that's just the right for you to really write your own ticket. You know, and sing what you want to sing, and dress how you want to dress, and look how you want to, and be who you really are. You know, that to me is just. That's independent in itself, you know.
And one of the things about being an independent musician, I mean, I'm a writer. You know, I'm self-published. I have 4 books out. Not that I'm bragging, but, you know, but just a lot of work goes into it.
Right.
But there are a lot of self-published authors out there who the quality just isn't there. And one of the knocks against some independent music is that, you know, the quality isn't the same as with the major labels. A lot of musicians sound the same. Is that true or false?
I think that that's true and false.
Okay.
I think that a lot of the musicians that are out there have, you know, as you were saying, have really put themselves into it. They've been doing it for years. They've really been grinding and working. And then there are those artists who, because of GarageBand, you know, can put together 3 or 4 loops and sing something over because they have a pretty decent voice, and then they've got something that they can put out, and they can go to an open mic, and they can hang out, and they can do all the things that musicians did, kind of surface-wise, and still get the same kind of promotional push that an artist who's really been working at it for a long time. But you know, you can't say that record labels are putting out that much better music.
Right.
So I mean,
Not at all.
I don't know if I'd say that, you know, Sony is putting out great artists.
No.
But it's a brand name. You know, a lot of people go for the brand name.
Exactly.
You know, whether it's clothing, whether it's music, whether it's movies. You know, they're going to go with the major labels and say, okay, well, I know that they put out quality music because they have a major name. You know, so a lot of times they'll stay away from, or even if they're not even looking for independent music. You know, so how do you attract those listeners who don't know who you are to question whether or not you're even going to have quality music, and try and bring them into what you have.
I think that there's already a set of people who are looking, and I think that set of people are larger and larger and larger and larger, simply because the music, the state of music is so dismal. You have, you know, you've always had music for different ages and different genres and such and so forth, but it seems to me that now, I mean, I just remember music as I was growing up, and we all think that the music that we had when we were growing up was the best.
Right.
Exactly.
Because that's...
I remember the good old days. Remember that?
But I mean, when you look back now, with no disrespect, pretty much before like 1990, 1995, it's right around that time.
It literally did.
I mean, it wasn't.
I agree.
It wasn't. It's when my when I have a niece who's around 17 years old, and she was saying, I don't even listen to pop anymore. She just started listening to the oldie station. I mean, as soon as you turn 17, 18 years old, you start listening to the music of your parents. Because the music now, I mean, there's some really fine artists. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
But after you listen to, you know, 10 of them, what else is there?
Basically.
So, I mean,
basically,
I think that there's a larger segment of people with the computer, and that you can literally go to iTunes and go, and they'll say, well, if you like this person, you'll definitely like this person.
Right.
And then you can just download, and you can listen, and for 99 cents or for free or for whatever, you can take a taste of that person. And, you know, it just depends on who that audience member is, whether they want a hard copy or whether they want just a digital download. So, I mean, you make money in either one of those ways.
Talking about those people who are just using GarageBand or the very simple programs on the computer who just, you know, put together a couple loops here and there, I think a lot of people don't have an appreciation for what it takes to actually put an album together. Now, Christos, I know you're working on something right now. What does it take? You know, what's that work ethic like to actually put together an entire album?
It's
being an independent artist, you know, not having that backing of a major label.
It's a lot. I mean, you know, I'm very fortunate that I have a recording studio where I live, but even then, it's just, I mean, I was recording a saxophone player the other day, and we spent a good 4 hours just putting parts on. There were already saxophone parts in the song, and then, you know, through the course of the night, I'm editing and moving stuff around, and then, you know, I mean, the process is very detailed and very involved. Something that you might hear that sounds really basic and simple might add a lot of work go into it too. You know, my thing with not to change back to what you were talking about, but you know, with labels and with radio, not directed towards you, but
no, we're public radio. It's totally
she doesn't
I already hailed you guys.
More flexibility over there.
Way more flexibility.
You know, it seems to be that people are receiving what they're exposed to, and you, like she said, you have to really search to find what's really out there that's not getting that mainstream exposure. And like you said also, there's a lot of really talented artists out there who are not being discovered.
That's right.
And they are. And you know what? In the next segment, I definitely want to get into that. We have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll take a look at the roles of the internet and the radio in promoting independent music, and we'll also talk about the other artists who are out there. So we'll be right back after this.